First Contact and Deception. The message that would change human history forever arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning at the Deep Space Listening Array in New Mexico. Dr. James Morrison had been reviewing routine data when the signal pattern caught his attention: structured, repeating, and definitely artificial. Within hours, the world's leading astronomers confirmed what he suspected: humanity had received its first contact from an alien civilization. But this wasn't a message of peace or friendship. The transmission contained detailed technical specifications of warships, military formations, and conquest strategies. It hadn't been meant for Earth at all. It was an internal military communication that humanity had accidentally intercepted. Admiral Catherine Wong stood before the United Nations Security Council 3 days later, her weathered face grave as she presented the findings. The Galactic Empire, as they call themselves, has conquered over 3,000 worlds. Their standard procedure is to observe developing civilizations until they reach early space flight capability, then subjugate them before they can advance further. The chamber erupted in panic, but Wong raised her hand for silence. We have an advantage they don't expect. They don't know we intercepted their communications. According to their data, their nearest scout ship won't arrive for another 30 years. This gives us time, if we're willing to undertake the greatest deception in human history. The plan was audacious. Humanity would continue its apparent trajectory of slow, predictable technological development in public while secretly preparing for war on an unprecedented scale. Every nation would need to participate in the deception, showing the face of a divided, primitive species while secretly unifying and advancing beyond anything the Kraxans could imagine. Deep beneath the Antarctic ice, they built the first quantum shipyards. Within the asteroid belt, automated mining operations worked in perfect radio silence. On Mars, underground cities grew into military production centers, all while the public face of Mars colonization remained small and struggling. Director David Chen of the Global Defense Initiative coordinated the massive undertaking. Our greatest advantage, he explained to world leaders, is human paranoia. While other species might see first contact as an opportunity, we immediately assumed the worst. And in this case, we were right. 20 years into the project, humanity had developed technologies that would have seemed like magic to their past selves. Quantum phase drives allowed ships to slip between dimensions. Dark energy matrices could bend gravity itself. Most importantly, they created the impossible, perfect stealth systems that could hide entire fleets in plain sight. The public face of space exploration remained deliberately primitive. The International Space Station continued its slow expansion. Mars colonies struggled with basic survival issues. Lunar mining operations used outdated equipment. All while humanity's true fleet grew in secret. When the Kraxans' first scout ship finally arrived, they found exactly what they expected: a primitive civilization barely capable of reaching their own moon. The scout's crew never detected the quantum sensors analyzing their every system, the infiltration nanites mapping their technology, or the ghost fleet surrounding them in phase-shifted space. The scout departed after 2 years of observation, transmitting its report to the Empire. Humanity intercepted and decoded it within hours: pre-conquest civilization, technological level 3, minimal space presence, no unified planetary defense. Recommended for standard subjugation protocol. Admiral Wong, now in her 70s but still commanding humanity's hidden fleet, smiled as she read the report. They see exactly what we want them to see. Now we wait for their invasion fleet, and we show them exactly what humanity can do when we have time to prepare. The next 8 years were a frenzy of final preparations. The Ghost Fleet grew to over 10,000 ships, each more advanced than anything the Kraxans possessed. Quantum weapon systems were perfected. Defense networks were tested and refined. All while Earth maintained its carefully crafted image of a vulnerable, primitive world. In orbit around Neptune, Fleet Commander Michael Okonjo watched his tactical display as the first Kraxan warships emerged from faster-than-light travel. His ships, hidden in quantum phase space, were invisible to their sensors. The massive alien vessels moved with the confidence of inevitable victory, never suspecting they were already surrounded. All fleet commanders, Okonjo transmitted on their secure quantum network, maintain position. Let them come to us. Let them think they have the initiative. We've waited 30 years for this moment. We can wait a few more days. The Kraxan fleet approached slowly, their sensors probing ahead for defenses they wouldn't find. Their commanders were probably already planning where to place their garrison, how to divide Earth's resources, how to process yet another conquered world into their empire. They would learn, very soon, that humanity had spent 30 years preparing a very different welcome for them. The Ghost Fleet waited in silence, weapons primed, crews ready. The greatest deception in human history was about to reach its culmination, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Silent Watchers. High above Earth's atmosphere, the Kraxan observation vessel, Vigilant Eye, maintained its silent watch. Supreme Observer Kextal stood at his command post, mandibles clicking in barely concealed contempt as he studied the primitive human spacecraft attempting another clumsy docking maneuver with their orbital station. Record another instance of inefficient fuel consumption, he dictated to his science officer. These humans seem incapable of basic trajectory calculations. What Kextal didn't know was that every clumsy maneuver was precisely calculated to reinforce his species' prejudices. 200 kilometers below, in the quantum-shielded Strategic Operations Center beneath Mount Fuji, Lieutenant General Maya Patel watched the alien vessel through sensors that shouldn't exist. Every transmission, every energy signature, every piece of data the Kraxans collected was intercepted, analyzed, and fed into humanity's ever-growing understanding of their future adversaries. They're so convinced of their superiority, she remarked to her executive officer, Commander Jackson. They don't even encrypt their internal communications properly. On the holographic display before them, dozens of human stealth satellites tracked the Kraxan vessel's every move, completely invisible to their observers' sensors. The deception went far deeper than the aliens could imagine. Every human space launch was coordinated with a hidden quantum launch, masked by the traditional rocket signature. For every primitive satellite publicly deployed, 3 advanced platforms were secretly positioned. The real International Space Station had been replaced years ago with a hollow shell, while the true station operated in phase-shifted space, undetectable to conventional sensors. Deep in the Kuiper Belt, Director Elena Rodriguez supervised humanity's most ambitious project yet. The quantum forge spread across 50 kilometers of space, its true nature hidden by gravitational lensing and phase-shift technology. Here, the ships that would defend Earth were born, constructed atom by atom using technology that bordered on magic. Status report on Ghost Fleet Alpha, she commanded, her voice carrying across the facility's quantum-linked communication network. The response came immediately from Chief Engineer Aidan O'Connor, his holographic avatar materializing before her. The last battlecruiser will be complete in 72 hours, Director. All ships are equipped with the latest quantum phase drives and dark matter shielding. The Kraxans won't know what hit them. His avatar gestured, bringing up a detailed simulation of the fleet's capabilities. The deception extended to Earth's surface as well. Major cities maintained a carefully crafted appearance of early 21st century technology, while beneath them, quantum computing networks processed data at speeds the Kraxans thought impossible. Every smartphone, every satellite dish, every visible piece of human technology was designed to broadcast exactly the level of development their observers expected to see. In orbit around Mars, Commander Zara Ibrahim watched as another Kraxan probe passed by the Red Planet, its sensors examining the struggling human colony on the surface. The probe never detected the vast underground cities beneath the Martian soil, where millions of humans lived and worked in secret, manufacturing the weapons and technology that would protect their homeworld. "They're scanning the surface again," her tactical officer reported. "Their sensors are focused on Colony Alpha." Ibrahim nodded, knowing the colony was performing its role perfectly. The inhabitants above ground played their parts as struggling pioneers, while below, quantum reactors powered the largest military manufacturing complex in the solar system. The Craxans' arrogance was their greatest weakness. They had conquered so many worlds, followed the same pattern so many times, that they couldn't conceive of a species capable of such elaborate deception. Their sensors showed them exactly what they expected to see, a primitive civilization struggling to reach beyond its cradle. In the asteroid belt, automated mining operations continued their vital work, but not in the way the Craxans imagined. While primitive mining robots worked visible claims, quantum-phased excavators harvested entire asteroids in secret, converting them into the raw materials needed for humanity's true fleet. The observation vessel's crew never noticed when their own ship was infiltrated by microscopic quantum probes, their every secret transmitted back to Earth's defense networks. They never realized that their supposedly secure databases were being accessed, their encryption broken, their tactical protocols analyzed and countered before they were even implemented. As the months passed, Kextal grew increasingly bored with his assignment. Another day watching primitives fumble with basic spaceflight, he logged in his daily report. Their development proceeds exactly as predicted by the Imperial models. Recommend proceeding with standard conquest protocols within the next solar cycle. In her office beneath Mount Fuji, General Patel read his transmission and smiled. Send the confirmation to all fleet commanders, she ordered. Operation Ghost Protocol is entering its final phase. Maintain absolute communications discipline. When the Craxan invasion fleet arrives, we'll show them just how primitive we aren't. The quantum networks carried her message to every hidden facility, every cloaked ship, every secret installation throughout the solar system. Humanity's greatest deception was approaching its culmination, and not a single one of their observers suspected the truth. The hunters were about to become the hunted, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Empire's mistake. Grand Admiral Vexthor stood before the Imperial War Council, his scaled hands gesturing at the holographic display of the Sol system. The humans are precisely where we want them, he declared, confidence radiating from his towering frame. Their technology is primitive, their world divided. They've barely established a foothold on their own moon. The council chamber, with its ancient crystal walls and floating platforms, hummed with anticipation. Conquest was routine for the Craxan Empire, they had performed this exact operation thousands of times before. Supreme Commander Zixis, her ceremonial armor gleaming in the chamber's ethereal light, raised a clawed hand. Proceed with the standard conquest protocol, she commanded. Fleet group dominance will depart immediately. None of them noticed the quantum-shifted probe recording their every word, transmitting directly to Earth through subspace channels they thought impossible. The Craxan invasion fleet assembled at their forward base in the Proxima Centauri system. 50 warships, each the size of a small city, powered up their drive systems. Fleet Commander Raxtil stood on his flagship's command deck, reviewing the invasion plans one final time. The humans would be given one chance to surrender, as per Imperial protocol. None of their previous conquests had ever survived the alternative. Back on Earth, in the Quantum Command Center deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Admiral Jasmine Zhao watched the Craxan fleet's preparations through humanity's quantum sensor network. All Ghost Fleet commanders, maintain emission control, she transmitted through the secure quantum net. Let them come to us. Let them think they have surprise. The Craxan fleet entered faster than light travel, their ships tearing through spacetime in a display of power that had terrified countless civilizations. They emerged at the edge of the Sol system, sensors immediately scanning for any sign of resistance. They found exactly what they expected, a handful of primitive satellites, a few basic space stations, and no military presence worth mentioning. Begin standard approach formation, Raxtil ordered, his voice carrying the boredom of routine. Prepare the surrender broadcast in all known human languages. His crew moved with practiced efficiency, having performed these same actions dozens of times before. The first sign that something was wrong came as they passed Neptune's orbit. Commander, his sensor officer called out, confusion evident in his voice, I'm detecting some unusual readings. The human satellites we observed earlier, many of them appear to be missing. Raxtil dismissed the concern with a wave of his hand. They probably suffered mechanical failures. Their technology is hardly reliable. But as they moved deeper into the system, more discrepancies appeared. The human space stations they'd expected to find were gone. Their Mars colony showed no signs of activity. In the Quantum Command Center, Admiral Zhao watched the invasion fleet's growing confusion with grim satisfaction. "They're beginning to realize something isn't right," she noted to her staff. "Prepare for Phase 2. Let's show them just how wrong their assumptions were." The Kraxan fleet approached Mars, their sensors sweeping space for any sign of the primitive human vessels they'd expected to find. Instead, they found nothing. Complete silence. Even the background electromagnetic chatter they detected from Earth had diminished significantly. "This isn't right," Raxtil muttered, his warrior's instincts finally awakening to danger. "Full sensor sweep. I want to know where the humans have gone." His crew worked frantically, their advanced sensors probing every corner of space around them. They found nothing, no ships, no stations, no signs of the civilization they'd come to conquer. Then, deep in the asteroid belt, one of their scout ships detected an energy signature unlike anything in their database. Before it could report its findings, the scout vanished from their tactical displays. Not destroyed, simply gone, as if it had ceased to exist. "What's happening?" Raxtil demanded, real fear creeping into his voice for the first time. "Where is Scout 7? His tactical officer's response was cut short as two more ships disappeared from their formation, swallowed by the void without a trace. In the hidden command center beneath the Pacific, Admiral Zhao gave the order they'd waited 30 years to hear. "Ghost Fleet, disengage quantum camouflage. Show them what humanity has become." Space itself seemed to ripple around the Kraxan fleet as thousands of human vessels phased into normal space. Ships that defied imperial science, their hulls dark and angular, drinking in light rather than reflecting it. Weapons unlike anything the Empire had encountered powered up, their quantum signatures overwhelming Kraxan sensors. "Impossible," Raxtil whispered, watching as his tactical display filled with enemy contacts. Where had they come from? How had they hidden from Imperial sensors? The humans were primitive, barely able to reach their own moon. This couldn't be happening. Admiral Zhao's voice cut through every communication channel on the Kraxan ships, speaking their language perfectly. "This is Admiral Zhao of the Earth Defense Force. Your Empire made a crucial mistake. You assumed that because we appeared primitive, we were primitive. You never considered that we might be waiting for you, preparing for you, studying your every weakness." The Kraxan fleet tried to regroup, but their formation was already shattered. Their weapons, powerful enough to reduce continents to ash, passed harmlessly through human vessels protected by quantum phase shields. Their faster-than-light drives, attempting emergency jumps, failed against targeted gravity wells they couldn't detect. In the Imperial War Council chamber, Supreme Commander Zixis watched in horror as the invasion fleet's signals went dark one by one. The Empire had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. They had conquered 3,000 worlds. And now, in the space of a few hours, they were learning a lesson they should have learned long ago: appearances can be deceiving, and underestimating humanity was the last mistake they would ever make. Turning the tide. The void between Mars and Earth erupted in a display of technological prowess that defied Imperial science. Fleet Commander Raxtil watched in horror as his mighty warships, each capable of reducing continents to ash, found themselves helpless against humanity's quantum-shifted vessels. Multiple direct hits on target Alpha 7, his weapons officer reported, voice shaking. "No effect. Their shields they're not even shields, sir. Our weapons pass right through them as if they're not even there." The massive Imperial warship shuddered as another human vessel phased into existence beside it, impossibly close. From her command chair aboard the Earth Defense Force flagship, Prometheus, Admiral Zhao orchestrated humanity's response with cold precision. All vessels, execute pattern Omega. Show them exactly what 30 years of preparation looks like. Her fleet moved like a single organism, their quantum drives allowing them to shift in and out of normal space at will. The battle defied conventional tactics. Human ships would phase into existence, launch weapons that ignored Imperial shields completely, then vanish before the Kraxans could respond. Their dark hulls, covered in metamaterials that absorbed both energy and light, made them nearly impossible to target even when visible. Status report. Raxtil demanded as another explosion rocked his flagship. His tactical officer's response was grim: 15 ships lost, sir. Not damaged, lost. They're just gone. Their crews are appearing in our emergency teleport receptors, but the ships themselves have vanished. Admiral Zhao allowed herself a small smile. The quantum displacement cannons were working perfectly, selectively phasing entire Imperial vessels into parallel dimensions while their emergency systems automatically evacuated the crews. No loss of life, just the complete neutralization of the Empire's military might. In the Imperial War Council chamber, Supreme Commander Zixis watched the tactical feeds with growing dread. How, she whispered. How did we not see this coming? The answer was becoming painfully clear: humanity had orchestrated the greatest deception in galactic history. Back in the battle, the remaining Imperial ships attempted to coordinate their defense, but their communications were being blocked by technology they couldn't even detect. Their faster-than-light drives, attempting emergency jumps, found themselves caught in artificial gravity wells that bent space itself. Deploy the autonomous combat drones, Raxtil ordered desperately. Thousands of robotic fighters launched from his remaining ships, their artificial intelligence programmed with every combat algorithm the Empire had developed over millennia. They lasted less than a minute against human quantum technology. Fascinating, remarked Dr. Viktor Petrov, watching the battle from Quantum Command. They still rely on conventional AI. They never developed quantum computing. His team had spent decades reverse engineering Imperial technology from their probe data, finding ways to counter every advantage they possessed. The battle was rapidly becoming a demonstration rather than a conflict. Human ships danced through Imperial formations, their quantum drives allowing them to ignore the laws of physics as the Kraxans understood them. Where Imperial weapons fired, human vessels simply weren't there, having shifted slightly out of phase with normal spacetime. Message from Ghost Fleet Beta, Zhao's communications officer reported. They've successfully contained all Imperial retreat vectors. The fleet is completely surrounded. The Admiral nodded, then opened a channel to all Imperial vessels. Attention Kraxan fleet. You have witnessed a fraction of Earth's true capabilities. Your weapons cannot harm us. Your shields cannot stop us. Your ships cannot escape us. You have two options: surrender, or watch as we systematically remove every vessel in your fleet from this dimension. In his command chair, Raxtil felt the weight of 10,000 years of Imperial history pressing down on him. The Empire had never surrendered, not once in its entire existence. But they had never faced anything like this. His remaining ships hung motionless in space, surrounded by vessels that seemed to bend reality itself. How, he transmitted back. You were primitive. We watched you for years. Your technology, your divisions, your struggles to reach your own moon. He left the question hanging in the void between them. Admiral Zhao's response was measured, almost pitying. We showed you exactly what you expected to see. Every primitive rocket, every struggling colony, every piece of outdated technology, all carefully crafted to reinforce your prejudices. While your observers watched our decoys, we built the real fleet in quantum-shifted space. The implications staggered him. The level of coordination, the technological advancement, the sheer scale of the deception. Why, he asked finally. Why go to such lengths? Because we intercepted your first probe's transmissions, Zhao replied. We knew you were coming. We knew what you did to other worlds. So we prepared. Every nation on Earth united in secret. Every resource was devoted to advancement. We took your own arrogance and turned it into our greatest weapon. In the Quantum Command Center, Dr. Petrov's team was already analyzing the battle data, finding new ways to improve their technology. Their ship's power signatures are exactly as our probes indicated, he reported. Every weakness we identified was precisely where we expected. The deception worked perfectly. Admiral Zhao opened a secure channel to Earth's Defense Council. Phase 1 is complete. The invasion fleet is neutralized. Shall we proceed with Phase 2? The response came quickly. Humanity had prepared for this moment for 3 decades. Proceed, came the order. Show them exactly what happens when you underestimate Earth. As the remaining Imperial ships began transmitting their surrender signals, humanity's quantum fleets were already moving into position around key Empire worlds. The greatest empire in galactic history was about to learn that they weren't the only ones capable of conquest, and humanity had no intention of repeating their mistakes. A new dawn. The Imperial Palace on Kraxon Prime had stood for 10,000 years, its crystalline spires a testament to the Empire's absolute power. Now, those spires reflected the dark hulls of Earth's quantum ships hovering silently in the violet sky. Supreme Commander Zixis stood in the Grand Chamber, her ceremonial armor feeling suddenly hollow as she faced humanity's representatives. Ambassador Nathan Cole walked the ancient halls without a trace of awe, his simple black uniform a stark contrast to the ornate surroundings. Behind him, holographic displays showed human vessels emerging from quantum space near every major Imperial world. Not firing, not threatening, simply appearing, demonstrating that nowhere in the Empire was beyond their reach. Your Empire has conquered thousands of worlds, Cole began, his voice carrying clearly through the vast chamber. You've subjugated countless species, always following the same pattern: observe, wait for vulnerability, then strike. Today, that pattern ends. In orbit above the Imperial capital, Admiral Zhao coordinated with ghost fleets deployed throughout Kraxon space. Dr. Petrov's analysis had been correct. Once they knew where to look, hidden resistance movements appeared on almost every conquered world. Species that had suffered under Imperial rule for generations were rising up, emboldened by humanity's victory. We're not here to destroy your empire, Cole continued, addressing the assembled Imperial Council. We're here to transform it. Every world you've conquered will be given a choice: independence, or membership in a new galactic federation, with equal representation for all species. Zixis found her voice at last. You can't possibly maintain control over such vast territory. The Empire's unity is what brings stability to the galaxy. Her protests sounded hollow even to her own ears. The Empire's unity had always been maintained through force, through fear, through technological superiority, all of which humanity had just proven obsolete. Ambassador Cole smiled. We don't need to maintain control. Unlike you, we don't believe in empires. We believe in alliances, in cooperation, in mutual defense. The technology we use to defeat your fleet, we're offering it to every world that joins the Federation. In the skies above 1,000 worlds, the word spread. Humanity had not only defeated the undefeatable Empire, they were offering to share their advancement, to help other species achieve what they had achieved. The response was overwhelming. Dr. Isabella Reyes, head of Earth's Xenocultural Relations team, worked tirelessly with representatives from formerly subjugated worlds. We understand the transition will be challenging, she explained to a gathering of alien diplomats. That's why Earth is offering not just technology, but education, infrastructure, and defense guarantees to all Federation members. The Empire's carefully maintained hierarchy crumbled in days. Species that had been deemed primitive revealed their own hidden advancements. Worlds that had been brutally suppressed showed remarkable resilience and innovation. The galaxy was transforming, and humanity was leading the way. In a secure quantum communication, Admiral Zhao reported to Earth's Defense Council. Phase 2 is proceeding faster than anticipated. 87 former Imperial worlds have already applied for Federation membership. The Empire's military infrastructure has been completely neutralized, and their leadership is cooperating with the transition. The Council's response was cautiously optimistic. Humanity had prepared for this moment for 30 years, but the speed of change was surprising even them. Their victory had not just been military, it had been psychological, proving that even the most powerful empire could be overcome by patience, preparation, and unity. Back in the Imperial Palace, Ambassador Cole concluded the negotiations that would reshape galactic civilization. The age of empire is over, he declared. The age of cooperation begins. Earth will not rule over you as conquerors, we will stand beside you as equals, sharing our advancement, learning from your experiences, growing together. Dr. Petrov's team was already working with scientists from a dozen different species, sharing quantum technology, discovering new approaches they had never considered. Their perspectives are fascinating, he reported excitedly. Some of these species developed theoretical frameworks we never imagined. Together, we're advancing faster than we could alone. The transformation rippled across the galaxy. Trade routes reopened, this time free from imperial control. Cultural exchange flourished as species long kept apart by imperial decree began sharing their histories, their arts, their dreams. The galaxy was awakening to new possibilities. Admiral Zhao stood on the observation deck of the Prometheus, watching ships from 100 different worlds moving peacefully through space. We prepared for war, she mused to her staff, but we achieved something greater. We didn't just defeat an empire, we showed the galaxy a better way. In the Quantum Command Center beneath the Pacific, the Defense Council received reports from across former Imperial space. The transition wasn't perfect, there were challenges, resistance from some Imperial loyalists, disputes between newly freed worlds. But the foundation was laid. Humanity had turned their greatest deception into the galaxy's greatest hope. Ambassador Cole's final words to the Imperial Council echoed through history, you thought you were dealing with primitives. You thought we were weak because we appeared divided. Instead, you taught us the greatest lesson possible, that unity in the face of threat, patience in the face of danger, and wisdom in the face of power can overcome any empire. The future belongs not to conquerors, but to collaborators. Welcome to the new age. The stars themselves seemed brighter that night, as if reflecting the hopes of countless species finally free to determine their own destiny. Humanity had prepared for 30 years to defeat an empire. In doing so, they had given the galaxy something it had never known, true freedom, true cooperation, and true hope for the future.